Have you ever had the feeling that you are a volcano full of emotions that are ready to explode? You nod along when you want to shout, smile when you don't intend to, and keep quiet when your heart is screaming for you to say something. When all of it is kept inside, what happens? I'll tell you what. Suppressing your emotions makes you heavy, not strong, burdened with anxiety, bewilderment, and an increasing barrier separating you from those who matter most to you. The truth is that it will demand to be released louder the longer you suppress it. I'm here today to explain why repressing your feelings could be subtly harming your happiness and relationships. Most significantly, I'll demonstrate how everything can alter if you let your heart to speak. Imagine that you are seated across from a loved one, such as a friend, spouse, or even a relative. When they say or do anything that irritates you, you tell yourself, it's not worth it, or I'll deal with it later, rather of confronting the issue. The issue is that that moment never goes away. It persists. Unnoticed at first, but gradually encroaching, it rests inside you like a small thorn. You mentally reenact the event, picturing all the things you could have said but chose not to. According to psychologists, suppressing our emotions prevents us from growing as well as from facing challenges. That unsaid feeling becomes stress, which permeates every aspect of your life. You may become aloof from your relationship, feel agitated without cause, or even lose your self-confidence. What's the worst? Frequently, the other person is unaware of your emotions. They are unable to repair something they are unaware is flawed. Why do we do it then? Why do we prefer to be silent rather than honest? Many of us are afraid. Fear that our vulnerability may be interpreted as weakness, fear of conflict, or fear of rejection. Perhaps it's ingrained in you to keep the peace, or that expressing emotion makes you less likable. The harsh reality is that when we hold back, we really make issues worse rather than better. It becomes more difficult to relate to and trust one another as each unsaid statement widens the emotional gap. Unspoken feelings don't go away. They just manifest themselves in different ways. Perhaps you become bitter whenever your partner is there, or you start avoiding their calls. Perhaps you lose your temper with them over little matters or start to emotionally distance yourself. This is the silent relationship killer, as I refer to it. Suppressing your emotions prevents relationships from thriving by preventing the vulnerability that partnerships require, in addition to shielding you from disagreement. Did you know that one of the most desired qualities in a spouse is vulnerability? It is the foundation of love, trust, and intimacy. You're losing out on these opportunities if you remain mute. Imagine the reverse now. Imagine sharing your innermost thoughts and feelings. Yes, it is frightening, but it is also liberating. Sharing your emotions allows the other person to gain a deeper understanding of you. Instead of constructing a wall, you are constructing a bridge. And if it improves your relationship, it's worth it even if the talk is difficult. When was the last time someone confided in you? You felt more connected to them, didn't you? Honesty has the capacity to strengthen bonds and bring out the best in both parties. So how can you begin to communicate your emotions in a way that is both safe and productive? First, rather than assigning blame, utilize I feel phrases. Say, I feel hurt when this happens, for instance, rather than you always do this. Instead of focusing on their actions, it turns the attention to your feelings. Second, Pick the appropriate time. Timing is crucial. Avoid bringing up delicate subjects when feelings are already running hot. Lastly, concentrate on the problem rather than the individual. Recall that the objective is to resolve the issue rather than to disparage one another. Silencing your heart wasn't intended. It should have been heard. Opening yourself gives your relationships the opportunity to become deeper and stronger, in addition to improving yourself. Take that first step then. Begin today, but start small. Because the only thing worse than telling the truth is living your entire life wondering what would have been different if you had.